Dear students, in addition to the geostationary satellites, we have the another type of satellites. One type such a satellite is called polar satellite. It is the one which orbits in the north-south direction as the Earth spins below it. These are the satellites which revolves around the Earth in the north-south directions. Here, these satellites are revolved in a very close orbit. That means their orbits are called a low Earth orbit, which has a radius of around 800 to 1000 kilometers. Such a satellite takes less than 2 hours to go round the Earth, and it can capable of scanning the entire Earth each day as the Earth rotates below it. So it completes the one revolution within 2 hours. Then it can scan the entire Earth, because after each revolution, the geographical area coming under the satellite is different. So it can scan the entire Earth. So the main purpose of this type of satellite, they are used to collect the information about our atmosphere. So what are the conditions for the polar satellite? So the polar satellite, whose orbit is around, the polar satellite has a orbital radius is around 800 to 1000 kilometers. It revolves around the Earth in the north-south directions. And for the one revolution, it takes only less than 2 hours. So they can capable of scanning the entire Earth. Some of the applications of the polar satellites, the main application is to collect the information about Earth atmosphere. And also, they can make the measurement of temperature and humidity in the Earth atmosphere. And another application is to gather the information about the polar aurora and Earth's magnetic field. We know it is very difficult for the human being to stay and research about this polar aurora and Earth magnetic field at the polar regions. So these polar satellites, since they are very close to the Earth's surface, and they are also reaching these polar regions in different times in a day, so they can use it to collect the information about these phenomena. And some of these satellites can also act as the spy satellites. And a very important application is the weather forecasting. Nowadays, they can study the variations in the different parameters in the atmosphere, and they can give us the early warning of the storm and severe climatic change, etc. So all these are very useful informations with these polar satellites. And these polar satellites revolves very close to the surface of the Earth. So the information or the result obtained by this are very highly dependable. And they have a very high resolution about these geographical areas, and it is much greater than that of the geostationary satellites. Another type of satellite is the GPS, Global Positioning System satellites. We are already familiar with the GPS system that are installed in our smart mobiles, and they are nowadays very popular. We know this using the GPS system, we are able to track the location of an object or a vehicle And this GPS system is possible with a constellation of number of satellites. And it is a network of satellites, and they are receiving the network of satellites and receiving devices used to determine the location of something on the earth. Even nowadays, when some GPS receivers are so accurate, they can establish their location within 1 centimeter. And this picture is the constellation of the GPS satellites that is associated with the America's GPS system. So this system is a constellation of 24 or more satellites, and it is about 19,000 kilometers above the Earth. And each satellite makes a full orbit of the Earth every 12 hours. And these satellites are constantly sending radio signals. In addition to the America's GPS system, we have other countries also have their own GPS system with other names. For example, for Russia's their GPS system is known as the GLONASS. For the European Union, they have the Galileo. For India is also developed its own indigenous GPS system called NAVIC. NAVIC means navigation with the Indian constellation. And another for the China, they have the GPS system called BDS or Beidou system. Actually, NAVIC is a constellation of 7 plus 2 satellite system, and it extends up to our neighboring countries. So we have, since the 7 satellites are used for locating the object, there we have a very high accuracy. Usually, a GPS satellite weighs around 900 kilograms and is designed to last for about 10 years. After the expiry of each satellite, the new satellites are launched. The new satellites are launched to replace the existing one. What are the applications of the GPS satellites? Let us see some of the applications. Determining the position, course, and the distance traveled by an aircraft. And also, in the sea, they are used by the commercial fishermen for the navigation purpose. In the sea, there is no other communication media. Only we can use this GPS satellite system for the navigation. And another application is the survey. To survey a particular geographic area, in the olden times, it requires a lot of human work and a lot of time. But with the help of this GPS system, we can conduct the survey very quickly at the reduced cost. Another application is widely used is in automobiles that help the driver to identify the best route to follow to reach the destination point. In addition to this, there are a large number of applications for the GPS system. Now we move to the gravitational potential. What is the gravitational potential? We know we are living in the Earth, and Earth is a very huge body. It has a larger mass, and it can exert a gravitational force on any object which lies very close to the Earth, and also at a larger distance. That means it can exert the gravitational force up to a very large distance. That is, it can exert. There is a gravitational force of attraction between we know the Sun and the Earth. That is the basis for the stability of the solar system. So that means this gravitational force exerted by the Earth, it extends up to a very large distance. That means when we place an object at some point around the Earth, the object can experience the gravitational attraction by the Earth. Okay, even though the value of attractive force will become lesser and lesser when we move away from the Earth, but still it experiences the gravitational force. That means there is a space around the Earth where its gravitational effects, where its gravitational force can be felt, is called the gravitational field. The space surrounding a gravitating body where its gravitational force can be experienced, it is called a gravitational field. That means when you place an object at some point, it experiences a gravitational force. That means there is this gravitational field. So when we change the position at a larger distance, even if it experiences a gravitational force, then we can say that its gravitational field extends up to that point. Theoretically, we can say that the gravitational field of the Earth extends up to infinity. Okay. So, to move a particle of unit mass from one point to another in the gravitational field. So, in the gravitational field, we know a body experiences a gravitational force. So, in that gravitational field, if we have to move an object of unit mass from one point to another, from A to B, as you can see in the figure, there requires an expenditure of work against the gravitational attractive force, because the Earth is attracting this body towards it. So if we have to move an object, we have to do some work against this gravitational force. This amount of the work done may be positive or negative, depending on the direction of the movement. Okay. If we wanted to lift a stone of mass 1 kilogram to a given height from the surface of the Earth, we have to do work against the gravity. We have to do the work against the gravity. Or if the same stone is dropped from a height, who will do the work? The gravity will do the work. So depending on the direction, the work done may be positive or negative. In short, to move an object in the gravitational field from one place to another, there should be some work. This amount of work is called the gravitational potential difference between these 2 points. That means to move an object of mass 1 kilogram from the point A to B, it is in the gravitational field of the Earth. So to move this object from A to B, we have to do some work. this work done is called the potential difference between the gravitational potential difference between these 2 points. Okay. Now, what is the gravitational potential at a particular point? To find the absolute value of the gravitational potential at any point, that we can determine unless that the absolute value of the gravitational potential at any point cannot be determined until some arbitrary choice of zero potential is made. That means, to make the absolute value of the gravitational potential, we have to choose, we have to identify the point where the gravitational potential is zero. Like we are choosing the origin. Okay, when we draw a graph, we have to choose the origin. So on the right side of the origin, we are taken as the positive, and the left side of the origin is taken as the negative. Similarly, to choose the gravitational potential at a particular point, we have to choose at which point the gravitational potential is zero. Here, the gravitational potential, the zero potential, is conveniently taken to be a point at infinity. That means, at the infinite point, the gravitational potential is taken as zero. That is our origin. That is our that is compared to that point is compared to the origin. When we draw a graph. Okay, so that means after the infinity, there is no concept after the infinity. Up to the infinity, the value of gravitational potential is negative, and at the infinity it is zero. And there is no question after the infinity. That means the gravitational potential is maximum at the infinity, and the maximum value is taken as zero. The maximum value of potential is taken as zero. Okay. That means if we move from the surface of the earth to a larger distance, the gravitational potential increases, but with a negative direction. But with a negative value, it increases and reaches the maximum value 0 at the infinity. Here, what is the significance of the negative sign? Here, the negative sign for the gravitational potential indicates that the work is done by the gravitational force of attraction. Now we can define. So you can see in the figure, this at the infinity we have chosen, the gravitational potential is taken as 0. At the infinity v is taken as 0, and any other points between the infinity and to the earth is taken as we have a negative value. That means when we move an object from infinity to a given point, the work is done by the gravity. That is the negative sign indicates. Okay. So when we move from infinity to earth, the value of v actually it decreases. That is, in the negative direction, the value of v increases. Okay, but actually the value is decreasing. Now we are going to define the gravitational potential at a given point. So we have arbitrarily chosen the potential at infinity is taken as 0. Infinity as 0. Now we can define the gravitational potential at a given point. So the definition is the gravitational potential at a point in the gravitational field of Earth is the potential energy of unit mass placed at that point. That means if we have to find the gravitational potential at this point C, okay, according to the definition, that is the potential energy of unit mass placed at that point. That means if we have to bring a unit mass from infinity to that point, we have to do some work. This work is known as the gravitational potential at that point. Okay, that is its potential energy of the unit mass placed at that point. So we can find the gravitational potential at a given point, which is at a distance r. Okay, which is at a distance r. Then it is given by potential capital V is equal to negative capital Gm divided by r. Capital V is equal to negative capital Gm by r, where capital G is the universal gravitational constant, and capital M is the mass of the Earth, and r is the distance between the center of the Earth and the point where the unit mass is placed. Okay. Now that is the gravitational potential at a given point. Its formula is negative Gm by r. We should remember that here r is the distance from the center of the Earth to the given point. So what is its unit? The unit of gravitational potential is joule per kilogram. It is the work done per unit mass. It is the work done in bringing a unit mass from infinity to a given point. So its unit is joule per kilogram. Now what is the gravitational potential energy? Gravitational potential at a given point is the potential energy of the unit mass placed at that point. Okay. So let us consider a body of mass m is placed at a distance r from the center of the Earth. Okay. So the gravitational potential at this point, suppose this point is taken as the A. The gravitational potential at the point A is the potential energy of unit mass. If we have placed a mass m, then what is the potential energy? The potential energy can be calculated by just multiplying the gravitational potential at that point. Let us see. The gravitational potential due to the unit mass is negative Gm by r. Negative Gm by r. Here it is capital Gm, capital M, negative Gm by r. Now the gravitational potential energy of the mass m at a distance r is, for the unit mass, it is the potential energy. So for a given mass m, the gravitational potential energy is given by E is equal to negative G capital M into small m by r. Negative Gmm by r. Okay. Now if the body of mass m lies on the surface of the Earth, if it is on the surface of the Earth, then this small r it become the radius of the Earth. Then the potential energy of the mass m on the surface of the Earth is given by E0 is equal to negative g mm by capital R. V0 is equal to negative g mm by capital R. Now this is the gravitational potential energy at a given point for a given mass m. Now let us see, if we throw an object from the surface of the earth, we can see that it may coming back to the surface of the earth. If we throw a ball with a very high velocity, such a way that it can escape from the gravitational attraction, then it may not return to the earth atmosphere. This velocity is called escape velocity. Usually all the objects, when we throw an object, it is return to the earth atmosphere due to the earth attractive force. If we are capable of throwing an object with a energy which is overcome the earth gravitational field, what happened to that object? It may escape from the earth gravitational field, earth gravitational force, and enters to the space. Okay, this velocity is called escape velocity. The escape velocity from the earth is defined as the least velocity with which a body must be projected in order that it may escape from the gravitational field of earth. Now we are going to find an expression for the escape velocity. Consider a body of mass m is situated on the surface of the earth. So what is the potential energy near the surface of the earth? That is equal to negative capital G capital M and small m divided by capital R. What is the kinetic energy of the body near the surface of the earth? If V is the escape velocity, that is equal to half small m VE square. To make the body to escape from the gravitational field, so its potential energy becomes 0, because that is the maximum value of the potential energy. Okay, the gravitational potential energy, that is at the infinity. So for an object to escape from the gravitational field of earth, its potential energy reaches its maximum value. That means its potential energy become 0. Okay, so to make the potential energy 0, the kinetic energy should be equal to, a kinetic energy equal to positive G mm by R must be given to that body. Okay, to escape from the gravitational field, the body has the enough kinetic energy so that it has to overcome the maximum potential energy. The maximum potential energy at the infinity is 0. Okay, so for a kinetic energy equal to plus Gmm by R must be given to the body in order that the potential energy become 0. Okay, so we can equate the potential energy equal to, that is a potential energy plus Gmm by R should be equal to kinetic energy half m VE square. That is half m VE square. Here V is the escape velocity. Equal to positive value of capital G capital M divided by capital M small m divided by capital R. So this small m can be cancelled out. Now V square is equal to 2 capital G capital M divided by R, or V is equal to square root of 2 capital G capital M divided by R. Now this is the one of the expression for the escape velocity. Also we already know the expression for the small g, that is small g is equal to capital G M divided by R square. That is capital G M is equal to small g R square. Then the escape velocity become V is equal to 2 g R square divided by R. So 1 R can be cancelled out. That is escape velocity is equal to square root of 2 g R. This is the another expression for the escape velocity. So escape velocity can be calculated using this either equation V is equal to square root of 2 capital G M by R, or V is equal to square root of 2 small g capital R. Okay. Now we can calculate the escape velocity using the values. That is, we can putting G is equal to 9.8 meter per second square, and the radius of the earth can be taken as 6,400 kilometer. That is equal to 604,000 into 10 raised to 3 meter. So we can substitute escape velocity V is equal to square root of 2 GR, and after the substitutions and calculation, we can have the value 11,200 meter per second. That is equal to 11.2 kilometer per second. Now this is the escape velocity from the surface of the earth. From the equation you can see that the escape velocity does not depend on the mass of the projected body as well as the angle of projection. Okay, the escape velocity depends on the value of small g and the radius of the earth. If a body is projected in the upward direction with a velocity 11.2 km per second or more, it will never return to the earth. The escape velocity on the earth is so large, so that it is not easy to provide sufficient thrust to a rocket at the time of launching. So how can we overcome? Here the multi-stage rockets are used for this purpose. And also the average velocity of the air molecules in the Earth atmosphere is very much less than the escape velocity. So what is the effect? So these molecules cannot escape from the Earth atmosphere. That is why the Earth can retain the most of its atmosphere. But in the case of the moon, you can calculate the escape velocity from the surface of the moon with its radius and with its the small g, and you can see that it is around 2.38 km per second. Okay, but this value is less than the average speed of the gas molecules in the atmosphere. What is the result? As a result, the most of the gases escape from the moon's gravitational field, and hence it has no atmosphere. That is why the moon has no atmosphere, because all the gas molecules have the average speed which is greater than the escape velocity, so they can easily escape from the moon's atmosphere. So the moon cannot retain the atmosphere.